This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
Next on the 5 o'clock report.
The heat wave rolls on, and so do our smoky skies.
They're good negotiators who are tapping everybody along.
None of this is a Republican or Democrat issue.
I'm not going to stop eating berries and salad.
Now, let's go to the newsroom.
Walking under an orange-colored sky. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Mark Webster, the title of an old jazz standard, and what many in the listening area are experiencing today, colored by Canadian wildfire smoke from hundreds of miles away. Interesting to look at, not so healthy to breathe in. It's led to air quality alerts in most of upstate New York, PA in line for some as well. WHTM meteorologist Brett Thakra in central PA.
The heat wave rolls on, and so do our smoky skies after some wildfire smoke started to drift in here yesterday. It looks like it's going to be with us now through the end of the week.
In some of the worst affected areas, you actually will be able to smell that smoke from the fires north of the border. Our other big story, turning up the heat on Iran. CENTCOM announcing it launched a new round of strikes on Iran a couple of hours ago. President Trump asked a question by Fox News this afternoon before taking the stage at the PA Defense and Innovation Summit at the U.S. Army War College in Carlisle.
You came to the conclusion that you couldn't negotiate with the IRGC. Does that mean that you might wipe them out like you did ISIS?
Yeah, it does. We will see what's happening. We received a call just as I was coming here. They want to meet. They always want to meet. They're good negotiators who are tapping everybody along.
During his speech, Trump gave his 2 cents on PA's gubernatorial race.
Thanks as well to your amazing state treasurer, Stacey Garrity, who is running for governor. And I'm telling you, this guy Shapiro is totally overrated. I watched him the other night doing a speech, and he does not have what it takes. People think that's a horrible statement to make, but that's the way politics is.
Trump also touted a $10 billion investment in Pennsylvania's defense industrial base. The president says federal immigration agents aren't going to end traffic stops. That comes just a day after the Immigration and Customs Enforcement said it was suspending most stops after 2 people were fatally shot by ICE agents during recent stops in Maine and Texas. Attorney General Todd Blanche on the Senate hot seat today for a confirmation hearing.
None of this is a Republican or Democrat issue. Every senator here has constituents who just want to be safe. Above all, we are restoring American trust.
Illinois Democrat Dick Durbin.
The president decided to fire the predecessor of Mr. Blanche after just 14 months on the job, after courts and grand juries blocked her from prosecuting the president's political opponents.
Senator John Cornyn of Texas pressed Blanche on whether he'll go after the makers of a commonly used abortion pill, which is being sent through the mail to women in states where the procedure is limited.
This ought to be a pretty easy call because women are hurt as a result of side effects, incomplete abortion, other complications when this is being sold through the mail.
Blanche called Trump the most pro-life president in history, saying that federal health leaders are taking a hard look at the pills, but he did not go into litigation strategy. At least 34 states reporting cases of the foodborne illness cyclosporiasis, with more than 500 cases being reported across New York State. Health officials believe the illness came from leafy greens like lettuce and spinach.
I'm trying to be conscious, but personally, I'm not that worried about it. I'm not going to stop eating berries and salad. Gotta eat something.
Either you could stop eating or you could just take your chances. I'm not changing anything. I'm just being careful about it, but it is what it is. I'm avoiding raw veggies now.
Symptoms, which typically start about a week after being exposed, can include loose stools, loss of appetite, and bloating. The illness does not typically spread from person to person. Some more encouraging economic news out today. Wholesale prices down following falling energy prices. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reporting the Producer Price Index, which is a broad measure of how much it costs to make goods, fell 0.3% last month. Analysts were expecting the rate to stay unchanged. A new warning from economists and AI experts. Government and business need to prepare right now for the rapid rise of AI.
The group says artificial intelligence could become dramatically more powerful over the next decade, creating major economic benefits while also putting some jobs at risk. The researchers are urging policymakers and industry leaders to establish some safeguards and policies that ensure AI works alongside people and benefits society as a whole. I'm Monica Nelson.
BMW has added a new warning to a recent recall. This week, the German automaker announced it was recalling nearly 30,000 luxury plug-in cars due to a fire risk linked to the engine starter. Now the company's telling owners of those affected models, park those vehicles outside until they can be inspected and repaired. The affected models are listed on the company's website. Well, no more spring forward and fall back.
The yeas are 308, the nays are 117. The bill is passed.
The House of Representatives passing a bill that would make daylight saving time permanent. The Sunshine Protection Act would end the twice-a-year changes, making daylight saving the standard time nationwide. That legislation backed by President Trump. Trump has argued that cities and states forced to change their clocks spend hundreds of millions of dollars on it each year. Still to come on the 5 o'clock report, a recap of our top regional stories and highlights from today's noon feature about an upcoming men's conference and a teen whose compassion likely saved a life. All coming up after weather.
This is meteorologist Josh Nichols with the Family Life forecast for our area. Air quality alerts are in effect, not so much for haze, but for smoke aloft. And the smoke aloft could in spots be thick, all due to Canadian wildfires. Temperatures today will be into the middle and upper 80s and even low and mid 90s. For tonight, look for patchy clouds and starlight. That smoke aloft will create a haziness. The overnight low temperature into the middle and upper 60s. For tomorrow, some of the smoke starts to thin, but we should still find temperatures well into the middle, if not upper 80s, with some sunshine. Friday offers up a mostly sunny sky. It starts to cool down a little bit. Your top temp in the mid 80s to near 90.
Thanks, Josh. Checking the stories making news where you live across New York and Pennsylvania. More reaction coming into New York's one-year ban on large-scale AI data center development. The Empire State, the first in the nation to enact a statewide moratorium like that. Governor Hochul says it gives regulators time to develop better rules to protect the environment and the power grid.
We don't believe there's a conflict between the innovation economy and our desire to just pause and make sure, as we lean into the future of how we power AI, that we do it right. This is what New Yorkers deserve.
Liz Moran with Earth Justice among those applauding the move.
We're going to have to keep a close eye on how this is implemented, of course. There are a number of next steps that we'll be looking for coming out of this executive order, and New Yorkers will ultimately be watching. But this serves a really important need.
Hochul's opponent in the November midterms, Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman, opposes that moratorium, and in a Truth Social post, President Trump blasted it, calling on Hochul to cancel it immediately. Weeks after the Pennsylvania Supreme Court ruled skill games are illegal slot machines, lawmakers must now decide how to regulate them. If PA politicians don't act by October 13th, police will be under orders to remove the machines. Republican Representative Jim Rigby.
Now we've been tasked with setting up regulations for this. So it's just not a matter of saying, okay, they're legal, you're going to pay $50 a machine per month. Where are the machines going to be allowed to be? Who's going to be allowed to play them?
There are an estimated 70,000 skill games in operation right now at convenience stores, bars, restaurants, and laundromats all across the Commonwealth. 3 people dead after a small plane crash near the Adirondack Regional Airport in Saranac Lake, New York. The twin-engine fixed-wing aircraft went down shortly after takeoff late Monday night. It was less than 100 feet off the ground when it lost touch with air traffic control. A Pennsylvania state trooper is running a marathon this fall to honor a fallen colleague. Montana Trombetta will compete in the Erie Presque Isle Marathon September 13th. He hopes to raise $100,000 for the family of Corporal Timothy O'Connor, the state trooper killed in the line of duty while making a traffic stop in Chester County in March. Up next, highlights from today's Noon Report feature a conversation with a Northern Tier pastor about a men's conference this weekend that's being simulcast at hundreds of churches nationwide on Friday and Saturday. Our guest is the Reverend Homer Williams with the Sawyer Evangelical Church in Bradford, Pennsylvania. He spoke with our Bob Price.
This 1613 Men's Conference. Pastor, if you would just explain what this is about.
So the 1613 Men's Conference is anchored off of 1 Corinthians 16:13. Be on your guard, stand firm, be courageous, be strong, and do everything in love. It's across the country, and it's actually in some provinces in Canada as well. There's over 500 churches that are hosting a live stream of this conference.
Yeah. This is all about encouraging men to be leaders in our families, in our workplaces, in our communities, in our churches. Kind of, I would imagine, like what the Promise Keepers, I hate to use the word movement, but message was way back when they were popular. Is it kind of a similar thing here, Pastor?
That's what they're hoping for. They're hoping to get men to understand that masculinity is not a bad thing.
How has masculinity been hijacked in our culture today?
Well, I think it's because we've been told that if we try and exert dominion over things, that it can make people afraid.
Yeah.
And actually, there's a quote in 1613 Men's Conference that I really love, which is, masculinity is not bad.
Yeah.
It's weakness and passivity. So allowing things to happen, that we should be stepping up and saying, that is wrong and we need to address that.
Yeah. We've seen the blurring of the genders over the years, whether it's the trans sports thing or the LGBTQ agenda. What has been the net effect of that on our country, Pastor?
Well, I think it's mostly affected the church, because you can see within churches there are a lot of women that are stepping up in leadership and doing things, but there aren't many men within churches.
Yeah.
We really want to try to get people to understand, the guys to understand, listen, we need you here. You need your leadership. We need your example of what it is to be a godly man.
Yeah, exactly. I just had a pastor on recently talking about some encouraging statistics from Barna that show Gen Z men, young adult men, are leading kind of, for lack of a better term, spiritual awakening in the church today. That, in fact, the demographic that's most likely to attend church is that Gen Z man. Are you noticing that in your congregation?
We're starting to see that movement slowly come up, but it's taking a while.
Yeah.
My congregation is mostly older men, but we are starting to see some of the younger men stepping up. I'm seeing our middle school group really doing a lot, leading and doing things within our congregation.
If I were to ask you, what does biblical masculinity look like? How would you answer that?
I would say that it's where we lean completely upon the Lord. Listen to what He has to say to us, to be courageous, to step up for those things that need to be addressed, need to be challenged within our culture.
Yeah.
And allow God to lead us in how we need to do that with gentleness and respect.
Thank you, gentlemen. That's our Bob Price with Pastor Homer Williams with the Sawyer Evangelical Church in Bradford, PA. The 1613 Men's Conference is this Friday and Saturday. You can learn more about it at 1613mensconference.com. And you can hear the entire feature and all of our Family Life original news features at Apple Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, and FamilyLife.org. This is the 5 o'clock report on Family Life.
When it comes to giving, we should be careful with the phrase testing God. Hi, I'm Rob West with your Faith and Finance Minute. Malachi 3 is often quoted as though God promises every believer financial increase if they give. But Malachi was written to Israel under the Mosaic covenant, where tithes supported temple worship, the Levites, festivals, and the poor. So when God says, put me to the test, He is calling His covenant people back to faithfulness, not giving Christians a formula for guaranteed financial return. Yes, Christians should give generously, worshipfully, and sacrificially, but we don't give to make God bless us with more money. We give because God has already given Himself to us in Christ. Biblical stewardship is not testing God, it's trusting God. We can help you learn to manage your money according to biblical principles when you download the free FaithFi app. You'll find it on our website at faithfi.com.
Thank you, Rob. Finally at 5, call him a royal oasis in the desert. When Teresa, an elderly dementia patient, became disoriented and got lost in the 100-degree plus temperatures of Gilbert, Arizona, things could have turned out very badly. But along came 14-year-old Royal Cothran out for a bike ride. Another kid might have just ignored the wandering woman, but not Royal, who tells KPNX,
I don't even know. She just looked like something was wrong, so I started talking to her. I knew it was hot. She was sweating.
Royal struck up a conversation with her, learned she was looking for her son's home.
I don't think there's any apartments around here, I can tell you that. I could look it up on my phone if you want me to. Maybe we can try to call him on my phone.
The caring teen stayed with Teresa until her son and the Gilbert Fire Department arrived. Her son is grateful.
It's incredible, really, what he did. So fortunate that he ran across her and he cared enough to stay with her and to take care of her.
And Royal's mom is
super proud. He was calm. He was compassionate.
says this firefighter.
The outcome would have been much, much worse had he not dealt with the kid.
Now Royal is, getting the royal treatment for his life-saving act of kindness, receiving honors from the Gilbert Fire Department, even the Air National Guard. Teresa's family says young Royal is royalty to them. And that's the world we live in for Wednesday, July 15th, 2026. Thank you again for joining us. I'm Mark Webster, Family Life News.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.